Jeroboam, one of the Bible's most enigmatic characters, emerged as a central figure during a period of great turmoil in Israel. Known as the first king of the northern kingdom, his rise to power was not just a simple political matter, but also a reflection of God's faith and promises. Jeroboam, son of Nebat, was a courageous and hard-working young man who gained Solomon's attention due to his ability and leadership. However, his fate was written in prophecy, and the tragedy that followed would show the complexities of power, faith, and love throughout his life. Before becoming king, Jeroboam was chosen by God through the prophet Ahijah. This encounter changed the course of his life, as Ahijah tore his new cloak into 12 pieces, giving 10 of them to Jeroboam. This symbolic act represented the division of the kingdom of Israel, where Jeroboam would rule over 10 tribes, while the other 2 would remain under the command of the house of David. This divine promise was both a blessing and a colossal responsibility, as he had to follow God's commandments and walk in God's ways to keep the kingdom safe and prosperous. The transition to power was not smooth. After Solomon's death, the kingdom was inherited by his son Rehoboam, whose lack of wisdom and hardness of heart alienated many tribes. This created an opportunity for Jeroboam, who led a successful revolt against Rehoboam, resulting in the formation of the northern kingdom. However, the new king soon faced spiritual and political dilemmas. Jeroboam's faith was quickly tested, and instead of fully trusting in God, he gave in to the fear of losing control over the people. The tragedy of Jeroboam's story began with his attempts to secure his power. Afraid that his subjects would return to the southern kingdom to worship in Jerusalem, he decided to set up new centers of worship in Bethel and Dan. He erected golden calves and proclaimed, "Here are the gods who brought Israel out of Egypt." This decision was a clear violation of God's commandments and an act of idolatry that had devastating consequences for him and his kingdom. This spiritual deviation became a stain on Israel's history, resulting in calamities reminiscent of the biblical flood in terms of their severity and impact. While ruling, Jeroboam faced countless battles and conflicts, both external and internal. His lack of faith in God and dependence on idols weakened the kingdom's cohesion. His personal life was also marked by tragedy. His son, Abijah, fell seriously ill, and in desperation, Jeroboam sent his wife in disguise to consult the prophet Ahijah. The message received was grim. Because of Jeroboam's sins, his son would die, and his line would be wiped out. This devastating event was a deep blow, not only to Jeroboam as a father, but also to the king who had failed to keep his covenant with God. Throughout his life, Jeroboam had numerous opportunities to repent and return to the path of faith. However, he persisted in his mistakes, attracting even more divine wrath. His story serves as a powerful warning about the consequences of straying from God's commandments. Divine love and patience were extended to him repeatedly, but his stubbornness and pride sealed his fate. Jeroboam's legacy is a complex mix of wasted potential and self-inflicted tragedy. If you're enjoying this content about biblical figures and their life lessons, don't forget to subscribe to our Divine Passages channel and leave a like. This helps us to keep bringing you more stories and insights. And share it with your friends and family so that they too can learn and reflect on these important themes. Ending his life tragically, Jeroboam died without seeing the fulfillment of the promises God had for him and his lineage. His kingdom faced years of instability and idolatry, events that shaped Israel's history forever. Jeroboam's story is a powerful lesson in the importance of true faith and obedience to God. His journey shows us that, regardless of the power or opportunities we may have, without divine guidance, we are destined to face tragedy and failure. Jeroboam's story teaches us valuable lessons about leadership, faith, and the consequences of our choices. He had the chance to be a great king, but his deviations and lack of trust in God brought destruction to him and his kingdom. Have you ever stopped to think about the decisions you make every day? Are you following the path of true faith, or letting yourself be led by modern idols and impulsive decisions? Reflect on your life and your choices. Are we distancing ourselves from divine love and guidance, as Jeroboam did? How can we strengthen our faith and trust God more fully? These questions are fundamental to personal transformation. If you want to continue learning about biblical stories and applying these teachings to your life, subscribe to the Divine Passages channel and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any content that can help you on your spiritual journey. Leave a comment on what impacted you most about Jeroboam's story and share your reflections with us. Let's grow together in faith and divine knowledge.